Andrew Livingston with Team HEP Twisted T Suzuki, and I wrench for Max Anstie. We run Mika handlebars with the STV bend. Max likes his bars pretty neutral, pretty standard. The front brake lever stock, we run the stock lever. For the clutch, we run Works Connection with a custom pull on there. He likes pretty tight, but he's pretty picky on how it pulls. He runs standard Mika grips, nothing really special about that, half waffle grips. Standard throttle tube, all stock there with the throttle cables. You know, coming from Europe, Max really likes the hand guards, so we've been running it pretty much all year. We do a few races until they start to look beat up or anything. Yeah, this is a Showa A-Kit forks. They're tuned by Clark Jones at Noleen J6. Yeah, real good forks. Max really likes it, his suspension a little more plush, so yeah, we've been working with them and it's been real good. Yeah, we're at 2mm right now and we've been playing with it quite a bit. Yeah, it just depends on the track. Trigs are great. You know, the split clamp gives a little more flex. Max really seems to like that. Standard X-Trig steering stem, so nothing too crazy there. Yeah, Max likes his steering pretty neutral, maybe a hair on the tighter side, but pretty neutral for the most part. Right now we have the master cylinder and the brake line are all stock. We just recently partnered with Nissan and we got their caliper and their pads, and it's made a big improvement over stopping power. The rotor is a 270mm rotor, and we got the carbon fiber Acerbis guard that helps protect from any damage that could happen. The wheel is an A60 with a standard hub. For motocross, we like that better. For supercross, we did standard XL rim with a Han hub done by W. It's just better for supercross because there's more jumps, but this setup is pretty good for outdoors. Dunlop, we always do the Dunlop spec, and he's set on the 33, the Dunlop 33 spec tire. That's his tire. That's the only one he runs. Yeah, the radius are standard. They're just braced, and then we run the netted covers just to keep mud and sand and dirt stuff out of the radiators. TV4 are great. Places the stock hose. Stock ones have a bunch of different connectors and stuff. This gives it a cleaner look and keeps it from burning through on the exhaust. So we run the carbon tanks, really high quality. It's slightly oversized for the long motos, and then we put the CV4 heat shield underneath it because it generates a lot of heat with the motor, and that just helps the gas not to boil. All the engine stuff is done in-house at HEP Motorsports and Clark Jones at Noleen. He does all the engine tuning and stuff. For the most part, Max likes it he likes it smooth. He doesn't want anything too aggressive. He just likes it smooth and better traction. So we run the Vortex ECU, and that's done by Chad at XBR. We have a handful of different maps, but we generally just run one map. There's a different map for Supercross, but for motocross, we just stick with one. Yeah, for some of the engines that we had, we vapor blasted the powder coat off, just a little more extra bling. Yeah, we run all Hinson clutch components and covers. They make a really nice bulletproof cover, and clutch pull just gives it a nicer pull for Max. Max actually runs the slipper clutch, and he really likes the feel of the slipper clutch. We've tested a handful of different mounts, but Max prefers the stock mounts. These ones are the Scar foot pegs, titanium Scar foot pegs. The reason they don't have any centers in for mud, so no mud builds up in them, keeps the weight down. And Acerbis does all our plastics, guards, and covers, and they make these foot peg covers to keep mud and grime out of the spring pivot. All the axles and pivot points are all tie. For air filters, we cut out the plastics just a little more for better airflow, and we just run a standard DT1 filter. DT1's been really good. They cover all our filter needs. Max prefers 10mm lower, so he likes that feel. It gives it a little bit more nimble feel for him. Max is not too picky on the seat. I try to get 1 or 2 races out of it, but yeah, gut seats, really good seats, great quality, nice gripper seat. But yeah, he's not particularly super picky about his seat. Just a standard seat with the Phantom foam. Rear shock is done again by Noleen J6 by Clark Jones. standard 8-kit parts. We run the JGR Link. It just gives a better ratio for the suspension to ERT3 chain, DID chains, which are really good. We run Mica Metals rear sprocket. We run a 1452 max. Will bounce around depending on the track, 52 to 53, depending on what track. Axle blocks are they're actually PC axle blocks that allows us to roll the wheel back further for better traction. Yeah, Max prefers a 120 rear Dunlop spec, of course a 33. Sometimes Max likes to run a paddle tire. In Europe, they run a paddle tire a lot, so sometimes you'll see him first practice always run a paddle, but for Hangtown, pretty hard pack here, so he'll run a standard spec 33. So the rear brake is actually completely stock, except for the Nissan pads. They're racing pads, which helps with high heat. Max is really hard on the rear brake, so that definitely helps. The foot brake, he likes it pretty high up, and it's all standard, the tip's all standard. Then we run the brake snake. It helps keep secure on there in case anything gets hung up. Yoshimura does all our exhaust stuff, really good, high quality stuff. The shorter subframe, it's kind of difficult to get the exhaust on, but they got this Works exhaust, which works really well. Max seems to really like the power, and we try to change them out every race just to make sure they're nice and tight with the packing, but they held up really good. Yeah, for the whole shot device, we run Works connection. They're real good, easy to install. Max likes it not too deep, kind of neutral in the middle, but we do bounce around sometimes. For Supercross, we were much deeper, but for outdoors, we're pretty neutral, not too crazy. Yeah, we run the Boysen water pump cover and super cooler. It helps keep all the temperatures down and high quality cover. Yeah, we run the higher temp radiator cap to keep the pressure down and keep it from boiling over. We run pretty much all the hardware on there is titanium, and that brings a lot of weight down, obviously. But yeah, the graphics, we just recently got much thinner graphics from 180 decals. I think we dropped about a pound and a half with graphics, and that helped a lot. Overall, pretty standard, but the tie and the graphics do help a lot. And the exhaust as well, with the titanium exhaust. The stock exhaust is extremely heavy. With that, with the tie exhaust, it helps a lot.